Okay, students, welcome to our week 4 report to the class. I hope that you're doing well. And what I want to do is take a few minutes here and talk about our progress. Of course, we'll talk about the calendar briefly, a little bit of quiz feedback. I know you want to know a little bit about that test 1 and a little bit about test 2. And I know you're interested about the midterm and some reminders I think that you really need to know. Okay, so this is a packed report to the class. Let me go on to our next slide. But before I do that, I want to pause and I want to thank everybody for their participation in the last discussion point, where the week check-in, where you were talking about your efforts and then you shared something about Father's Day. It was really good seeing the pictures and learning about how that day went with you, and I'm very glad to have been able to share that time with you. Okay, again, this is a report on how you're doing with your grades, and this is a report on all 38 of us in the class. And down here at the bottom, you see the distribution, and that's very good. Now, try to keep in mind, folks that have gotten past the due date on their test and the quizzes, they have a blank in their grade right now and not a 0, okay? So I will be making some adjustments on that as I move forward so that this grade report, shows a true value. At this time, those people can work to improve and get rid of that 0, but just a little heads up there. Here's our calendar, a very important part of the class. And as you know, we're down here in this dark shaded area, lesson 11, where we're learning about the binomial distribution, which is a very important idea, extremely important idea in the study of statistics. And so we're working on the second half of that unit 2, marching over here to Friday, where you would be done with lesson 13 if you're ready for a quiz. Of course, I see Cindy joined us, so that's really good. Appreciate you being here, Cindy. So what we're doing is we're realizing that our midterm starts also on this Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are the time for the midterm. So that's important to keep in mind. That's the calendar, and be aware where you came from, where you are, and where you're going. All right, so people wanted to know about this first test. So if you notice here, we have 36 out of 38 have taken that first test. And look at our grades over here. Those are very, very good grades for test 1. And I hope that you sort of rejoice in yourself with getting that done and doing such a good job. So very good. Now you want a little feedback, and here's just a short picture of how you guys did on that test 1. It seemed to me like this problem on question 2 is the one you had the most difficulty with. So, rather than go over a lot of the questions, let's just look at that one question. And lo and behold, it has to do with the sampling types. Let's just look at this. An electronics manufacturer tests every 15th cell phone to verify that it is functioning properly. Identify the kind of sample that's being used. Okay, so, I put this image out there for you guys, and some of you guys really enjoyed it. Now let's look at this type right here. If you notice, it's just all random. That would be a simple random sampling. This is what we're really trying to shoot for right here. Over to the right, you see there's some sort of systematic way of identifying people. And basically what it is, we start with the second guy, and every third one we pick, okay? That's how that worked out. That would be a systematic sampling. And then over here, what we're doing, you notice that the colors here, okay, are all the same. So this would be stratified, okay? And we're just taking a sample of each strata, okay? That's important. And then the last one where, again, we have them lined up by their strata, if you would, okay? But then we just take one group and we get the data from everybody in that group. That is called cluster sampling. So an electronics manufacturer tests every 15 cell phone. Anybody out there want to guess which one that is? Very good. I'm so excited. Was that Tracy? I really do appreciate that. Way to go. So, very good. Now, the question that you had difficulty with, some of you had the question, we're going to sample so many Democrats, so many Republicans, so many this. Well, that would be stratified, right? You're taking a group and doing part of the group. Another one had to do with middle school parents, and everybody gets a survey, and people who fill it out, they just turn it in. That's really a volunteer or convenience sample. And really, to be honest, that's not a good sample. But how many times do we do that? And not only that, how many times are the results published and we think it's random? So that's really an important part to get out of this. And then lastly, there are 31 neighborhoods, and we pick a couple of the 31 neighborhoods. That would be a cluster sample. So hopefully that helps you out on that question. All right, so this is kind of a busy slide right here, but how you did on the quizzes, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9. What happened to my little hand there? 9, whoa, and then 10. Okay, well, looks like 7 we did okay. 8 had a little trouble, right? Had a little trouble. 9 we seem to be sort of all over the place, and then 10 we seem to be okay. So let's take a look at some of these. Not every little detail here, but let's look at 8, okay? So if we look at quiz 8, and some of you guys have been emailing me about this, you did have trouble with these last questions right here. It looks like 7, 8, and 9, and 10, I guess, is the worst. Lo and behold, number 7, okay? Some of you have had a one-on-one with me about this, and you have to figure this matching out. Let's just do this first one. At least one uses Google, okay? If you told me it's true that at least one uses Google, and then I found out you lied, what does that mean? It means that none used Google, okay? Now, what I did, if you'll go to the Unit 2 discussion post, I did a whole video on this where I explain this, and so I hope that helps you out. All right, number 10, let V be the event that a computer contains a virus, and let W be it contains a worm. There's my values right there. Let me get my little pen working here, okay? So here's virus, here's worm, here's both of them. What's the probability that it contains neither a virus nor a worm? What's the probability that it contains neither a virus, nor a worm, or not worm? Well, let's see. A virus is 0.17, so not virus would be 0.8, 0.83. Okay, again, this is 8. I'll look at my notes here. I make sure I don't mess up here, okay? So that's right. And then it's going to be, remember, it's plus, okay? Well, what's the probability of not being a worm? That'll be 0.93. And remember, when you're doing or, you're going to add them together and subtract when they both are occurring at the same time. So what's the probability of them, what's not this? And that's 0.95. Okay, so if you add these numbers together, I believe you'll get the answer that you're looking for, which would be what? That's minus 0.2, so 0.81. All right, that may be a little confusing. We'll have to practice that. Okay, quiz 9. Looks like we did good on the first part. Second part, a little trouble. How about number 7? Number 7, Louise has a coin that's weighted, so the probability of getting a heads is 0.55. Well, what's the probability that in 4 tosses it's going to have 4 heads? 1 toss, 2 toss, 3 toss, 4 toss. Well, does the second toss, is that affected by the first toss? No. So they're all 0.55. So the answer is 0.55 to the 4th power. Okay? And don't forget you got to round to 4 decimal places. Okay? So you would just do that on the calculator. I know you want to see the answer, but we need to move on. Okay, number 7. Fast food restaurant has outlets. Okay? You've seen this problem before. City and population size. Here's the key. Given that the restaurant's in the Northwest, these are Northwest restaurants. What's the probability that the city is located with a population what? More than 50,000. So the formula goes like this. I need to review the formula. Probability of A given B is a probability of A plus B over the probability of B. I'm going to apply common sense here. Given it's Northwest, let's add those guys together. 70 plus 22 plus 77. What's the probability that it's going to be more than? What are we going to do with the 22 and the 77? We're going to add those together. Okay? So I would add the top, I would add the bottom, I divide, and remember you're rounding to 2 decimal places in this case. So don't forget to put the 0 there at the start. That's question 7. All right, let's see. 10. A number of people were asked how many days they should wait to seek medical treatment if they were suffering pain that interfered with their work. All right, so how many days, how many people would wait 0 days? 27. How many would wait 1 day? You know, if you think about it, you have done this before, okay? You've waited so many days before you got help. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to compute the mean. Now you may say, well, the mean has got to be close to 1. I go, well, yeah, that makes sense because most of them are 1 day, but you got to take into account all these others. And so what you need to do is make a frequency distribution table, okay? For L1, use these numbers, okay? And then for L2, use these numbers, okay? And then when you do the one variable stats, you're going to say L1 comma L2, and then look for the value by X bar, and that will be the mean, okay? That's how to do that problem. Okay, so if you got stuck on it, that's how to figure that out. All right, another question. An investor considers an investment in a startup company has a probability of 25% that it's going to be a loss. Whoa, that's not good. That will be a minus money, and the probability there is 25. 20% of a what? 19059 profit. That's a plus, right? So 0.20, and then 15% probability of a what? 47,281 profit, and then a 40% probability of breaking even. Well, how much money would I make? How much would I lose? Okay, so what you're going to have to do is multiply each of the left numbers by the right number and put it over here, okay, and then add those numbers together, and that would be your final number. Now, there's an interesting way to do this. You could put this in L1 in your calculator, that in L2, and L3, you could multiply them together, and then you could do a sum of L3. Okay? Ask me after this report if you want to see that. I'll be happy to show you how to do that. All right, I know I went through that kind of quick, but I could always slow down later if you guys need to. So quizzes 11, 12, and 13, you're working on them right now. There's not that many people that have took them. So maybe we could save that for another review session.